Hello, this is wmpyr. In this video, I would like to do a little bit of, this is the explanation part of the video that I just uploaded, which was basically showing eskrima CQC, close quarters combat. So that was just me just doing some stuff real fast. Now this one, I want to actually give the explanation. And my biggest contribution here is to show where the trapping takes place in my brand of eskrima. Okay, so normally trapping is taught, if this is the punch coming to my face, I'm supposed to go boom and boom right here. So I'm supposed to trap off of the punch. The punch, remember, is going to be like this or like that. It's that fast, and I'm supposed to somehow be able to do what I just did right now, which is like a boom and trap from the punch. It's very, very difficult. You have to be very fast, have really good reflex, and you have to be very athletic. So instead of relying on those things, the trapping that I would like to explain to you guys, that it makes perfect sense from an eskrima point of view, at least in my opinion, is to trap from the clinch. What is the clinch? The clinch is basically you're so close to the person, and what we typically see in cage fighting or in the sport of MMA is to grab the head and then start working the knees, right? This is Thai boxing 101. The other type of clinch that we see is Greco-Roman, which is now you're going for underhooks underneath the arm or overhook, where you hook over the arm, okay? And so from the eskrima perspective, instead of grabbing the head, controlling the arm works very well for us, because what we do is we attack the arm. So this is our destructions, right? And defang the snake. So this works very well. This is what we do in eskrima. And then when we get into close range, we control from attacking the arms to controlling the arms. Controlling the arms, you could say, is a type of attack on the arms. So they kind of just continues, but now it's in close range. So we are now controlling the arm, okay? So for us, this is much more important in eskrima than to attack the head at this point. And the reason for that is, let's take a look at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? In Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the ultimate move in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the ultimate showcase of skill is a submission. So you would go behind the guy, get the rear naked choke, and put them to sleep, all right? So getting a submission that ends the fight, that is the ultimate in BJJ, or in submission grappling. In eskrima, for us, it is the disarm. To get the disarm is our ultimate move to showcase the ultimate skill. So that's what we're obsessed with, right? So you might be saying though, well, wmpyr, what if the guy doesn't have a knife, right? So if the guy doesn't have a knife, and I'm just going to use eskrima on this guy, right? So let's say I get to the point where I'm over here and I'm controlling his arm like I'm supposed to. And then at this point, I'm controlling his arm, and then I could use this to bam, bam. Okay, I'm attacking the back of his elbow. So this is the front, this is his head, his face, this is his chest, this is the back of his elbow right here. So I'm just popping the back of his elbow with my own arm over here, okay? I don't expect it to break, okay? What I'm doing is jolting it a couple of times. Why? The reason is, when I go for a disarm, I want to weaken the arm and then go for the disarm, because it makes the disarm easier. This logic is the same as in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but not sport Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. In combat Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you punch, you get the mount and you punch the guy, and you soften him up, and then you go for the submission. You don't just immediately go for the submission. That way, like I said, it makes getting the submission easier. So same idea here. To make the disarm easier, I'm softening him up. So I could do this, I could strike him, I could throw some knees over here, but that's the idea. Weaken him up, soften him up, and then get the disarm. If he doesn't have the disarm, like I said, I'm just popping him right here, and then that's it. I take off. Okay, so that's what I would do in the street. I would just take off from there. In a cage fight, it's different, because if I take off from there, that means I'm running, and he's a tough guy. he's not going to tap out from that. That's not enough. It's not a full-blown submission to submit this guy. So then he's going to be chasing after me. He's going to be very angry. I'm going to be running, and the referee's probably going to warn me, and they're going to take away points from me, and I might even be disqualified. So in a cage match, if that's all you got, then it's not going to work out for you. You'll definitely lose. In the street, like I said, the goal is to survive. So you could just take off, and that's it. That's fine. If he does actually have a knife and he's trying to harm people, okay, then we got to do the disarm. I have to control his arm so that he doesn't use the knife on me. If I'm going for a rear naked choke on the guy at this point, he might stab me in the leg, and then maybe I'll put him to sleep. Maybe he'll miss my femoral artery. Hopefully I'll survive. I mean, I don't want to take that kind of risk. So instead of trying to finish him, I go for the control, okay? I have to go for the control. So I'm going for the control right here, okay? And like I said, I soften him up with various techniques, soften him up, and then from there, I don't expect him to stay here to let me just control his arm like this. He's going to be fighting and resisting this, and as we're doing that, he's going to present techniques for me to get the disarm. So it's almost like he's going to tell me what disarm to use on him. And hopefully you have multiple disarm techniques in your arsenal so that you could use the one that kind of suits best for the situation. So if he pulls his arm this way, then you can kind of use that momentum and then crank his hand this way, and you crank it, and then you can pry the knife out of his hand like that. Or maybe if he brings it this way, then you can make him stab himself and then pry the knife off of his body, use the leverage against himself. I mean, it's just going to depend. Maybe you might have to hit the weapon out of his hand, but the main idea is I'm not going to do that from the beginning. I'm going to weaken him. I'm going to control first, weaken him, and then from there see how it presents itself, how the disarm will present itself. So that's the main idea. But let me go back to the trapping. So from here, I'm trying to control the arm, and then this is where the trapping technique can occur, okay? And this is not where I'm going to keep doing this. I'm just saying, boom, this is where there's opportunities for it, okay? Boom. But the idea is we are still in the clinch. We're still grappling in here. Boom, boom, these like this, boom, headbutts, and then boom, and then I'm still grappling. Okay, so that's hopefully it's new, and I hope you can find it exciting. But if you train like this, then the trapping will actually come into play. If you try to do trapping just off of a punch, I've never been able to do it. Maybe you can do it, but it seems a lot harder. So if you try trapping in the clinch, you might have way more success. So that's all I'm saying. Thank you for watching, and take care, folks.